Folks, if you are just tuning in, we'll let some people join us here. It is me, Scott, Canadian Fisherman, and we're back with another outfitter for you to enjoy. We got Emily with us here. Say hi, Emily. That's if Emily can hear me.
I can hear you. Hi there.
Thank you. All right, sweet. So, folks, we got a little bit of an audio delay potentially between Emily and I, and that's just because of the internet, and that's just the way the world is. So, Emily is up at Slipperywinds Wilderness Lodge, where she is the head guide, and so we're really fortunate to have her with us tonight to tell us about this place. So, we're going to just let people join in here. We're a little after 7 o'clock. We'll let people go, and then we'll get started. So if this is your first time joining us for one of these, hi, Dave. If this is your first time joining us for one of these, this is the way it works. We've been doing interviews, live interviews with different Ontario outfitters, which allows you, the consumer, to kind of get a feel for the different options that you have available to you across the province. Get the chance to ask your questions in real time. So if you've got a question you want to ask me or you want to ask Emily, you're just going to type that into your comment box, and that pops up onto our screen, and then we can answer it for you as best we can. And of course, we're going to be posting these. So if you're watching this on a recording, that doesn't mean that you still can't ask your question. We're going to have all the contact information for Slippery Winds available on the site as well. So you'll see that at the end. So we're just going on here. Everything looks right. So Emily, are you okay if we get started? Give me a thumbs up if you're good to get started, Emily.
Yeah.
Beauty. Okay, here we go, folks. So we'll take a look here. So as we mentioned, we got Slippery Winds. And I'll be honest, I've not fished Slippery Winds. So what I try and do with each group is to let them know whether or not I've ever fished there or not. And I have not. I actually first saw information on Slippery Winds when I was watching a YouTube video with Emily and Troy Lidner doing some fishing. And that made me want to kind of research it. So I did some digging, and then I reached out to Emily. And what you guys don't know, and you probably don't care, is that Emily and I have a geographical connection where we both lived in the same hometown for a little while. So I am much older than Emily, and she is a much better angler than I am. But Emily, oh, we got to get Emily back here. It's popping out. This is the beauty of technology and live feeds. And I know what will happen is she'll just come back in. And I'm just going to send her a text. So as we wait for her cell to catch up, because there, as you can see based on the map here, Slippery Winds is to the northwest of Thunder Bay. Okay, so if you're just joining us, thanks for being here. We're going to have Emily join us back in here in a second. She's just, we lost her connection, but we'll get her to join back in again. So Slippery Winds is located northwest of Thunder Bay, kind of heading out towards the Lake of the Woods area, if you're familiar with that. So just waiting for Em to hear. She's texting me, so I know that we're going to be okay. There we go. Coming back in. There we go. All right, Emily, you're back. Don't see your face yet, but we know you're there. So Emily, if you can
I'm back.
hear us,
the Wi-Fi isn't always the best in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's okay. And if you want, Emily, you can turn off your video if that helps at all. But what I was just saying here while we were getting you reconnected, I was basically saying that Slippery Winds is to the northwest of Thunder Bay, out kind of towards the Lake of the Woods area. Is that correct?
Yes, it is. It is a really short distance from International Falls, which makes it really easy. And then go across the border to Fort Francis, a little town that's, oh gosh, it's a border town, so it's right on the border. And then you fly out with Rusty Myers flying service from Fort Francis.
Great. So that's important to know. So this is predominantly a fly-in destination. You're flying out of Fort Francis, and that's how you're going to make your way into Slippery Winds. So maybe what you could do here, Emily, is why don't you just give us, what we should know about Slippery Winds? What's the big picture?
Okay, so Slippery Winds, the current owners have bought it in 1999. It has been catch and release since 1993. The cool part about Slippery Winds is there is 6 lakes with 6 different species. So you have an opportunity to portage to get really good opportunity for crazy numbers in largemouth. And the species we have are muskie, largemouth, smallmouth, lake trout, walleye, northern pike. We even have some really big whitefish as well. And so it's a really, really cool multi-species destination that is an amazing fishery from the catch and release practice. The owners have done a lot of improvements since the lodge has been bought. New generator shed, boathouse, all sprucing up all the cabins and main lodge. So everything has been spruced up.
Yeah, awesome to hear. So that's interesting. It's not that often that we're talking to outfitters that can offer both, largemouth, smallmouth, muskie, walleye, pike. It sounds like you've got some really great fishing opportunities up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, very, very amazing. And you get numbers and sizes, which is pretty amazing.
Yeah, and it's also, frankly, it's nice to hear lodge owners that are making investments in their infrastructure because, if someone's going to come up there and spend a good chunk of time with you, you want them to be comfortable. So let's talk a little bit about the accommodations. But before we do that, folks, we got a video for you to watch. It's only a few minutes here, maybe 2-3 minutes, but we're going to play this video so you can get a kind of a feel for the fishing up here. Here goes.
Like an aquarium, folks. We're watching. You got one for small for the trip. This is like an aquarium, folks. We're watching schools of large whales, and all you do is drive a jig down to it. Look at that thing. Nice.
Awesome. Awesome.
Cool.
Cool. So listen, a great video, and it shows us a lot about a lot of the stuff that's out there. But let's talk about the facilities. Can you maybe bring us up to speed? What have you got there as far as the main lodge that we're seeing? So what goes on in there?
So what happens, typically the guests will arrive at 8 a.m. and hot breakfast will be waiting on the table. The main lodge is our gathering area. We have a large dining area where we can move tables according to groups in one big seating or individual. And then following behind the dining area is a lounge. There's a fireplace, some couches. We have a bit of a bragging board as well. And here at Slippery Winds, we're an American Plan Lodge, so guests will get all their meals. So yeah, so like I said, the main lodge is, we have two big decks off the front, so it's a place to kind of socialize and fill your tummy before you go back out fishing.
Now, you said it's American Plan. Is there a housekeeping option, or is it kind of American Plan only?
No, we like to take care of the guests the best we can. We like to do the American Plan for everybody. The facilities that we have currently with the cabins don't have kitchens in them, so
right.
We prefer to feed everybody ourselves. So
beautiful. All right, so here's an example here. Now, maybe tell us, how do the meals work? Are you on like a fixed timing? Like, do people know when to show up? How's that go?
Yeah, so we're on a schedule and everybody gets briefed when they arrive. Breakfast is at 7. We'll have, most breakfasts are absolutely amazing, full pancake, sausage, eggs, you name it. And then lunchtime, the guests have an option of a shore lunch or a packed lunch, a sandwich, some homemade cookies, some fruit, that sort of thing. A lot of the guests here have been coming for a very long time, so they are very comfortable with going out. We have shore lunch spots set up on the lake, so we'll provide them with everything they need, and they will go out and do their own shore lunches if they're not getting guided, sort of thing. So, and then dinner's at 6, and dinner's always delicious. You never know what it's going to be, but it's always delicious.
That's awesome. Good stuff. So listen, folks, if you're just joining us here, we're with Emily, who's the head guide up at Slippery Winds. So if you have any questions for us, pipe those into the chat box. We just covered off kind of the main lodge and locations. And why don't we talk a little bit more about the cabins? So maybe can you describe for us, what's in them? What are the group sizes? What do people need to know?
Of course. So on site, we have 5 guest cabins. All the cabins hold 6 people. The cabin shown on the screen right now is called the A-frame, cabin 5, also referred to, and it is able to hold up to 8. However, in camp, we like to keep our total group size around 18 people. We like to be able to give everybody the attention they need. So any more than that, it just gets a little too much. As you can see, so cabin 2 to the left, extremely spacious. There are two bedrooms in there, full direct heat, hot water, flushing toilets. The housekeepers will come in there and give you fresh towels, make sure your sheets are clean. And there's awesome screen porches that we just finished building this summer. So that's cabin 2 on the left. Cabin 3 on the right. It's awesome for couples and for when we have, say, father-sons coming up, because it has 2 bedrooms with twin size beds in it. And all of the showers, like I mentioned, have direct hot water showers, flushing toilets, etc. So that's cabin 3. And yeah, so and then cabin 1 is up on the hill. I'm not sure if there's a picture of that one, but yeah, and then there's another cabin up on the hill there.
Cool. And so someone made a comment here saying, I think Emily's shy. No, Emily's not shy. We had suggested that she turn her video off because of the Wi-Fi signal. So if it comes back, it's great. Hey, there she is.
I'll try again. Then I'll have to leave again, but I'll try my best. Yeah. So this is inside of cabin 1 here. So you can see there's 2 newly renovated bathrooms in there. There's some bunk bed style. So I know a lot when we get a lot of groups coming up, a lot of young guys, they love cabin 1 with the bunk beds and the open concept. 2 fridge, or excuse me, there's 1 fridge in there, and once again a big screen porch with the couch and a table and everything. So you have lots of room to hang out and have fun. Oh, and there's propane heaters as well. So if it gets a little chilly, but normally you don't need them.
Yeah, and so it sounds like if you're doing American plan, really, I mean, you've got lots of space to hang out with your group there and, just do your thing. So you're either on the water, you're getting fed great meals, or you got a great cabin to hang out in. Seems like a pretty good deal.
Yeah, no, and it's really comfortable for the guests. And, yeah, like I said, lots of space for them to be able to hang out and, hang out all hours if they'd like,
All right, so here you go. Here is someone that you must know. Jeff Schultz, first of all, says hi and wants to know whether or not you're really strong enough to pull a muskie in.
I don't know. Arm wrestle you and we'll find out. How's that sound?
Listen, we've got some pictures of Emily and some fish, and I don't think anybody is going to be questioning Emily's ability to land fish in a second here. So, so in addition to the cabins, you provide boats, and this is a gorgeous shot there. But I think you've got are they 16 or 14-foot Alumacrafts? I'm asking you to describe what the boat rigs are there, Emily.
Sorry, I cut it for.
Yeah, just can you tell us about the boats that are available for the guests?
14 footers for the guests. They have they're 2-year-old now, Yamaha 15 horse 4-strokes on the back. Really reliable and independent. They have open concept in the boat, so there's lots of room. And that is for the guests that go out on their own. And like I said, a really good part about Slippery Winds is the lakes are all smaller. So in this boat, it's perfect for what you need, and you have your independence as a guest to be able to go out on your trip and kind of self-guide. So if you're like me and you're stubborn and you want to go out and adventure every nook and cranny of the lake, then you have the option. And every morning your seats will be dried, your gas will be filled, minnows will be topped up, and these little fishing machines.
And so when the guests go to other lakes, is it a portage style where there's a cache of boats on the other side waiting for them?
Correct. Yeah. So for the portages, the farthest one that we have is around 600 meters. So it's all extremely manageable distances. We have 12-foot aluminum boats with brand new Yamaha 99 4-strokes on the back. So extreme, like I said, like the other boats, really dependable. You can hike over with all your gear, get in the boat. There's already life jackets and safety kits waiting, and you can go out and fish another body of water. And often you have the lake to yourself, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that sounds great here. So listen, let's talk a little bit about fish. And there's lots of pictures with you with some great fish. So why don't you kind of take us through, as you see, we got some northern pikes here. Tell us about the pike fishing up there.
Yeah, so the pike fishing, there's pike in basically every single lake that we have. These two were on our main lake, Yoke Lake. Cross route, one of our portage lakes, are my personal favorite for pike. There's days where you can get 50 to 80 of them in a day. Size wise, around 40 to 43 is around the biggest typical size I've seen, but in the water I've seen bigger monsters. So yeah, there's definitely a good opportunity to get lots.
Yeah, well, that's two beauties that you're showing right there. So well done. Now, what's the typical season, for the lodge? Do you open kind of third Saturday in May usually?
Yeah, so typically we'll have staff in there a little bit earlier around the second week of May, and we have guests come in around the walleye opener there. Where we are is border waters, so bass is open all year. So typically just before the 15th, we'll have a few groups come in for fly fishing for bass. But yeah, no, it's typically from the 15th of May all the way until around the first week of August. The owner of the lodge has a waterfowl hunting lodge on Hudson's Bay, so he needs to go. And the manager, Daryl, he has he has an outfit in Saskatchewan, and myself, I guide birds, so we kind of all unfortunately have to go a little bit early, but that's the season we currently run.
Yeah, it makes sense. Now, actually, that raises a question. For the guests that come up there, if they don't want to go it alone, do you offer guiding services?
Yeah, so we have 3 guides, including myself. I personally just got promoted to head guide this year. It is my 3rd season here guiding, and we have that available. I just tell guests that when they're making their booking, just if you're wanting a guide, just make sure that you request, because great problem to have. But I booked up last year so fast with guests, so yeah, so like I said, we have the guided service, and we'll do group guiding as well. Like I said, there's 3 on staff, so if we have a bigger group come in, we can take everybody out. And yeah, so
super. So listen, why don't you tell us a little bit about walleye fishing? So again, some great fish here.
Yeah, thank you. The walleye fishing is unlike any walleye fishing I've ever seen anywhere in my life. Yoke Lake, especially. Last year, my first week here, I had in less than 7 days, I had over 28 fish over 28 inches. So, like I said, the sizes are unbelievable thanks to the catch and release, and of course the fly in. And we do get numbers as well. Straw Lake, the lake that's adjacent to the main lake, is full of walleye, perfect eater size. So we'll grab our lunches in that lake and then go fish trophies in Yoke Lake. So that system seemed to have worked really well. And it's amazing because the clarity of the water is so clear. So you can be jigging these fish in 25 feet of water and see them hitting your jigs, and it's just unbelievable.
Wow, and you're not the only one that catches fish, so it's here's another beauty.
No, here's Daryl. Yeah, there's Daryl with another beautiful walleye. Like, it's absolutely insane. Especially after guiding here a few seasons, you get so spoiled. Like, it's just another 27, another 28. It's just insane. So.
Yeah. What fish of a lifetime for some people is just garden variety for you up there.
It sounds so bad, but it's true. It's just it's like, what are we going for next? Like, I don't know.
That's a good problem. That's a good problem to have. So, I mean, most of the folks that watch these shows, they're interested in the pike and the walleye, but that's not the only species you have. So why don't you talk to us a little bit more about, the large and the smallmouth bass?
Sure. So the bass fishing is incredible. I personally came from a bass fishing background, so I was delighted to hear that they had largemouth. And it's amazing because the different lakes are all kind of a tiny bit geographically different. So they all hold, like, for example, you can go to Crossroute and catch 100 bass before 3 p.m., all between, a pound and a half to 3 pounds, like, to be generous. And then, the odd 4 or 5 pounder as well that you might luck out on. But like I said, and then you can go to a different lake like Sullivan, and then you won't be getting necessarily numbers, but you'll be getting 4.5 pounders when you get them. So it's just incredible the bass fishing we have here, and smallmouth as well. We've caught them around 5 to 6 pound mark in Straw Lake, and yeah, it's just incredible.
So while we're talking about bass, and here's a question, I don't think it's just about bass, but it's about bait. Is live bait kind of a requirement up there, or is it, do you have any go-to techniques?
Sure. So for the walleye, I'll prefer, I pretty much I can't lie, 99% of the time when I'm going for walleye, I'll go for a jig head and a minnow. I've tried everything else under the sun, and nothing is as consistent for them. However, with the bass, it really changes like the seasons out here, which is fun. This one on the screen, I actually caught it on the fly. I went out in the pitch dark with my fly rod. I actually hooked myself in the face this night, but yeah, I got back from the hospital. I banged my knee as well, so I got back from the hospital late and went to go cast some smallmouth. And yeah, so like I said, the baits are ever changing, but I personally catch a lot of the bass since the water's so clear, hugging shoreline structure or in deeper weed beds. So I'm talking even 20 feet to 12 feet, flipping jig, you name it, hair jigs, punching craws, Senkos are great for under the trees, but it's wild because you just kind of raft up beside a giant deadfall and just pick them out like you're jigging with your bass gear one after another. So it's pretty cool.
Well, that's a tough problem to have. It's good of you to soldier on there.
Yeah, I know. Thank you. Very hard.
Listen, now let's talk about what they say, the fish of a thousand casts here, but you seem to do okay here. Let's talk muskie.
Yeah, sure. So the muskie there are in one lake we have, the main lake, Yoke Lake. Believe it or not, most of the guests who come back with pictures of muskie are accidental catches. So what they'll do is they'll hear the motor running and you'll be jigging walleye, and you'll have a giant muskie just come out from beneath the boat and either follow you along back trolling in your wake, or like in your prop wash, or just come and downright steal a walleye right off your line. So a lot of the older guests tend to have muskie that way. But for myself, throwing really, really big baits, big blade baits, jakes, believers, you name it. I think every muskie bait that's ever created, we've thrown at them. But it's unbelievable. Like, I had someone message me the other day saying, how many days to guarantee get a muskie? And I said, I could tell you with confidence that 2.5 fishing days that we could get you a muskie. So every time you get out, you get crazy follows. All the sizes generally are between the 40 to all the way up to, we had one that was 54 inches caught. Whoa. So yeah, it's incredible.
So there's a big girl there. I don't know when you caught that one.
That was actually last week or the week before, I think. I've kind of lost but yeah, no, that I presume it's an older male because there's such a big head and such a skinny body and it's so beat up. But I caught that actually trolling a big super Vibrax blue fox blade bait, like a little spinner on steroids. And they're really aggressive. They swim right up to the edge of the boat and sometimes will bite last minute. So
yeah, it's awesome because there's not that many fisheries you hear about that have like trophy, capacity for so many different species. I mean, it's unreal.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And that's what drew me here, especially with the structure in this lake. Like, every bass fisherman that comes here just can't even handle themselves because every single inch is a huge boulder, huge log, weed bed. Like, it's just unbelievable. Cool.
So, and look, here's another really fat muskie, just to add a little icing on the cake. That's a real healthy fish. So nice. I think we got lake trout. So let's talk about that.
Yeah, so lake trout, Daryl loves lake trout. You can see him pictured with one we caught, I think 4 days ago now, maybe a couple days ago. But we always we've been going out on yoke. There's some really big ones out here. Bluff Point has a lot of lake trout, and Sullivan has a lot of lake trout. The one we caught is in the picture here would be what he says to be average to on the smaller side to what Sullivan produces. I personally am not a huge lake trout fan, to be completely honest to the audience, but like I said, it's fun, but it's just not my cup of tea to devote for a day. But yeah, so there's really good angling opportunity, and we're just waiting to get a downrigger in here to really do some damage.
So how deep are the lakes then if you've got nice lakers like that?
So on Yoke Lake, the deepest point of the lake is around 115 feet, 110 feet. And the way these lakes are shaped is obviously some of the shorelines are kind of gradual dropping off, but most of them are kind of shoreline, then 20 feet of water dropping off to 40, and then holes of 80 feet to 90 feet kind of around the main bays. So yeah, it's on the deeper side, I guess, on average, for them. But yeah, no, most of the lakes have points around 100 and 110.
Cool. Listen, a couple of questions here I'll think of that I know that people often ask. And so anybody, if you got a question there, just type it in the chat box for us. If I could go back to the meal plan for a second, if somebody does have some type of a food allergy or requirement, are you guys able to accommodate?
Of course, yeah. We have a lot of guests that come in that have whether it be lactose, severe food allergies, you name it, we've probably seen it. So we're extremely happy to accommodate anybody's dietary requirements that are needed. We understand that some people need a little bit of a change, so that's all right.
Yeah, and now one of the things also is when it comes to the boats. What's the position? Do you guys provide things like, like landing nets, stuff like that?
Yeah, so with the cost of the trip comes everything. So when you arrive on the float plane, after you have your hot breakfast, the boat will be set up for you. So we'll have a net in there, an anchor if requested, minnows ready to go. So we make sure that everybody has everything they need. However, they can rent fish finders and trolling motors for an additional cost, which is extremely minimal, if they so need it. But a lot of times if I'm fishing bass for the day and I don't need it, I'll just say to the guests, I'll just hook up mine to your boat, sort of thing. So yeah. No, it's everybody has everything they need in there.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, and I mean it's less stuff to pack, right? Like you can focus on the essentials as the guest.
Yeah, and like I always encourage the guests too. Like I know it's so easy to get excited and pack everything in your everything in the kitchen sink for your fishing trip, but like you don't, like if you ever need anything, we have rental rods, we have a gear shop, we have like a little bait shop, we have everything that you may possibly need for baits. But yeah, so and another big thing that helps is we're in contact with the guests right before they arrive. So there's a request sheet. If you want a certain kind of pop or some snacks, we'll help save you weight and we'll run into town and get it for you. So yeah, so it's pretty easy.
Awesome. So now listen, this is your time then, Emily. If we missed anything, is there something that people should know about Slippery Winds? Because it was newer to me, and I think that's because of the geography, but it just seems like the fishing is exceptional up there.
Yeah, like the fishing's incredible, and I think the main thing that maybe I'd want people to know if they were kind of considering it is this place. It's just such an amazing place. Like I know I'm a little biased because I work and live here during the season, but it's just heaven on earth. Like you'll wake up and have a moose and her calves swimming across the bay. You'll always see someone at the end of the dock catching largemouth. It's just such a warm environment, and the guests that we have, like I mentioned, are repeats, and it's always such a joy to see everyone. And I'm trying to think if there's anything we haven't covered really. I think I'd encourage people just to kind of check it out and ask if you have any questions. And I know Canadians out there, if you're interested as well, definitely hit us up.
Here's a question. I'll be honest, this is the first time someone's actually asked this one. Bailey says, how are the bugs?
Oh my gosh. Well, hi Bailey. Well, the
And
bugs.
And there is a small spider icon in there, which I think I know what that's about.
Oh, well, Bailey, the bugs are as good as the bugs can be. No, they're not bad. After the springtime black fly on, it's nothing. I'm good.
Sure. And listen, not everybody is a fan of spiders. I can attest to that myself. So.
Okay, good. All right, good.
So.
Yeah. Have you seen Calamity?
I think I saw something on Instagram today with a spider.
Yeah, that one was a big one this morning. I was talking to Daryl in mid-sentence. I was like, get rid of it.
So, you know what we should do here, Emily, and I know it's probably hard for you to do this right now with your phone, but maybe after the fact, you should pop your Instagram handle in to the comments, because anybody that's on Instagram, if you want to look at some great fish, then you should be following Emily. She's got some great shots up there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, have definitely had lots of time to fish this season and try out some new spots, and got a lot of big muskie that have hit or just not hit right beside the boat. So I have a few bones to pick out there.
All right, Travis and Katie here says, what do you use to catch the monsters? I'm assuming we're talking muskies. So what's your go-to on the muskies?
Like I said, like the bigger the better. Like, and I used to be so intimidated to throw big baits, just thinking, well, you know, if it's big, if it's always small, then they'll never reject it. But the bigger the bait and the more aggressive, the better it's been working for me. So, like I said, I caught my 50 and that 44 both on a bright pink of all colors, unfortunately, Super Vibrax, Blue Fox, double blade bait. So any like really big, heavy baits that push a lot of water. And then on the flip side, using deeper diving big baits like things like jakes and believers and grandmas, like they work really great, like trolling them along 25 to 30 feet, like along that deeper structure. So, but honestly, it's come to my mind that like at the end of the day, it's just, if you have a bait that you know a muskie will hit, just leave it on and keep fishing it. It's so easy because it's so rare to catch one. I guess it's so easy to doubt yourself and just keep switching and switching. Just keep with one thing and just keep it going, you know? So that's my best advice.
Yeah, well, the big fish didn't get big by being dumb, right? Like they're smart, right? So
they're very smart. Like, it's absolutely incredible the encounters I've had with these fish, like just swimming right beside the boat and just looking at baits. Just, you can see their eyeballs turning. They roll their eyes at you and say, "Oh, is this the best you got?" You know. So it's definitely a challenge. It's hunting more than fishing, I think.
Yeah. All right, listen, folks, last chance for questions, but you can see up on the screen there, if you want to learn more about Slippery Winds, there's the website there, their telephone number, there's an email address. And yeah, thanks, Emily, from I'm going to say it wrong, Duclos family. So there's
what?
I think it's the Duclos family. Yeah,
That's Randy Duval. Yeah, that's the owner's last name. But unfortunately, we're not related, so I don't get that luxury.
I missed the accent there. So if you're looking for some more information about Slippery Winds, you can see that. If you're watching this on recording, the contact information's on the screen. It's also going to be on the show notes if you're watching this on YouTube. If there's other places you want to check out, we got other places that you can also check out. And if you've got a favorite outfitter that you'd like us to show, put us in touch. We'd like to get as many Ontario outfitters out there as possible, because there are some just great locations. So, Emily, thanks so much for doing this tonight. You've been a treat. You've been really helpful getting images and stuff. And have yourself a great rest of the season.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you having me.
Yeah, no problem. All right, folks, I'm going to shut things down so you have yourself a great night.